Hello and welcome to probably the dumbest idea for a YouTube video that I've ever had. Today, I will be reacting to UFC Reddit. Now, I have never looked at UFC Reddit before in my entire life. I have been on Reddit a couple times, but not really that often. So I have no idea what I'm in for when it comes to this video. And my first thoughts are that UFC Reddit could be decent or it could be completely awful, full of a bunch of not YouTube content worthy stuff. So I guess in this video, we'll find out real quick if UFC Reddit is worth putting on YouTube or it's not worth putting on YouTube. But this is a genuine reaction. I have not looked at UFC Reddit at all ever in my life. So you will be seeing my real impressions of things as they happen in this video. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right into UFC Reddit, and I will give you my opinion about this subreddit at the end of the video. Habib lives rent-free in Conor's head. This is kind of funny by Conor. He put out a tweet, he added Team Habib, and he's basically saying that he's going to buy Habib's house, his family home, and then take a big smelly Irish shit in it, which is kind of hilarious. I guess Habib, tax fraud and Russia thing. This does make kind of sense for Conor to do this. This is just, I guess, him just shitting on Habib. The rivalry is still there. The tension is still there. And I'm all for it, man. I'm all for a potential Habib return because he needs money and he fights Conor McGregor for that big paycheck. That would be, I think, pretty funny if I'm being honest with you. We'll see what happens, but Conor still talking shit about Habib, I think, is hilarious. So Ilia Topuria is confirmed coming back, and he says the UFC forced him to say yes, which is kind of ironic. I thought Topuria would be somewhat of an active champion, but I guess he isn't being an active champion. Doesn't make much sense to me. And with the way he put this tweet, it's almost like he's insulting us, like, fuck, man, I gotta come back and fight. These UFC fans are being annoying as shit, so let's just say I'm forced to come back. So I guess Topuria is not happy to be fighting again in the UFC. If I had to guess who he's going to be fighting, I would say it's going to be Volk. So I guess we'll see Topuria versus Volkanovski here soon, and I guess Topuria is not happy to come back. And honestly, if this is true, good for the UFC. I'm glad they made Ilia Topuria come back. I'm glad they forced him to do this because fighters who become champion, they sit out for months and months and months, are just hurting the sport. The UFC should be more harsh on champions sitting out. And honestly, if they're not hurt, if they're not having some sort of circumstance, the UFC should be like, hey, it's been 4 months, let's book a fight. Or it's been 3 months, let's book a fight. Come on, let's get back in the octagon. So here's the other half of the UFC news today. Apparently, Muhammad Mokaev and Manel Kape got into a scrap, I guess at the hotel or something. So we're going to watch that and see what actually went down. And we'll break it down, I guess. So I guess Manel Kape and Mokaev are somewhere right here scrapping it out. So we'll see what happens. Is that Mokaev being held back right there? I think it's Mokaev. Or is that Mokaev? I guess it's both their teams scrapping it out. Okay, where's Manel Kape? That's not Manel Kape. Okay, that's it. So nothing happened. I didn't see Manel Kape anywhere in that entire scrap unless he went full Michael Jackson and went full white. But other than that, I don't see Manel Kape anywhere. I guess he was behind the door and he got pulled back or something like that. Overall, not really that eventful. Maybe the phones came out a bit too late. Maybe there was more to it before the phones came out. And then once the scrap started, then the phones came out. So I guess we didn't get to see all of what happened. But overall, I really didn't see much there. I guess just mainly the two teams holding each other back. I guess somebody from Mokaev's team, I assume, was also in the fight with Manel Kape. So again, not much to really see besides it just does add some beef. Maybe in the press conference we'll get more about what happened if they do have Mokaev and Kape on the press conference. So I guess we'll get more insight to what actually happened tomorrow, I guess. But again, another uneventful situation with Bilal and Leon and now Manel Kape and Mokaev. I guess we don't get to see what exactly happened. But how funny would it be if like Mokaev got slept by Manel Kape before the fight? That'd be funny as hell. Because I'm being honest here, I went through this entire video again. I do not see Manel Kape anywhere in this video. I don't know who this is. Is it Ali Abdelaziz? Probably not. I think it's a little bit of gray right there. That can't be Mokaev. That's somebody who I don't know. This is probably somebody from Mokaev's team. I don't see Mokaev anywhere, nor Manel Kape. Like, the only person I think is Mokaev in this whole situation is this guy who got pulled back randomly in the black, I guess, puffer jacket. I don't know what it is, but I guess this guy is Mokaev. But other than that, I don't see Manel Cap anywhere. I don't see Makayev unless it's this guy, and he's only on screen for like 0.2 seconds. We don't see him anymore. So I have no idea which one was which. I guess we can't tell who won the scrap or who's getting the better of the other person in the scrap. So I guess it is entertaining, but I didn't see much really, to be honest. Now this is actually worth talking about. MS in the UK at 5:47 a.m. trying to maintain consciousness through the 5th round of Leon versus Bilal. Now I want to get into like the whole point of this. It is comically funny how the UFC decided to make the Manchester card, the UFC 304 card, at 10 p.m. Eastern time in the US. It doesn't make any sense. Now, why is this an issue? If you don't know, I live on the East Coast of the United States. I think we are 5 or 4 hours behind the UK, and it's starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. That means that the main card probably won't start until 2 to 3 a.m. UK time, which is ridiculous. I feel so bad for the UK people because every single week, the card is always centered around US time zones, and the UK fans always have to stay up super late to watch any UFC card every single Saturday. So I think when the event is actually being held in the UK, I think it would be fair for the UK people to actually have a card at a decent time. And they really only ever have one UFC event a year in the UK, so I think they at least deserve a little bit of respect in trying to make the card at a decent time so they're not staying up till 5 a.m., 6 a.m. watching a UFC event like they do every single weekend. So I guess that is an argument that the UK people, nothing's really changing for them, but I think it should change just a little bit. And with the main event being Leon versus Bilal, it's probably going to be boring as shit. So I do understand. I do grieve for my UK fans. It does suck to be you. But damn, the UFC could have at least made it centered around UK time, because every single other UFC UK event has always been at the UK time. Because the one last year in London, I do believe was like at 12 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, somewhere in that time range. So it would have been like 5 or 7 p.m. for the UK fans. So I don't really understand why the UFC is suddenly like, you know what, let's just make the card at US time because our US fans are better. I do understand why they probably do this, because you know the US is more of their fan base, more of their foothold marketing wise, and maybe the UK doesn't provide as much value to the UFC, so they want to keep US fans happy and have them watch the card over the UK fans. So I do understand the business side of things for the UFC, but you could at least, man, just cut it back a few hours at least. Just make the main card 10 p.m. UK time. That means it's 5 p.m. here for me, and it's like, I believe, like 1 p.m. for people in the Pacific Coast. So not much of a difference. I don't think it's too late or too early for anybody in the US to have that time range. I don't know. But this really does suck for the people in the UK. I really do feel bad for you guys. As a non-native speaker, Pereira's grunts are more understandable than Leon's accent. Now, if you haven't heard Leon's accent, it is one of the most difficult things to follow along with. Not only does he talk fast as hell, but his accent makes it 10 times worse. So I can understand if English isn't your first language and you're watching an Edwards interview. If you don't understand a damn thing, you're fine. It's not a big deal. Your English is probably still good. It's just Edwards speaking, and it's going to make it difficult to understand. I kind of think of Edwards' accent like a Patrick Mahomes if he was British. He kind of has this little frogginess in his voice. Maybe Patrick Mahomes speaks a little bit slower than Edwards, but overall, like the cues and the tones of their voice are kind of similar in some ways. And when it comes to Pereira's grunts, I mean, he really is kind of easy to understand. It just is, huh. Like, you know when Pereira is disagreeing with you or agreeing with you based on his grunt. If his grunt's like, he's probably agreeing with you. If it's like, he's probably disagreeing with you. Like, Pereira is pretty easy to understand, and he really only ever grunts and says Shama all the time. So I guess now Arnold Allen wants his own custom shorts for UFC 304, but he wants them to be gray sweatpants that are piss stained. I guess this is Arnold Allen's humor. He's put out a tweet, I guess, talking about it. But we do see that Paddy Pimblett and Edwards are getting their own custom shorts, which is pretty cool. I don't really see any difference when it comes to Paddy. Obviously, with Edwards, the whole teal with the stripes and the flags on it makes a lot of sense. But with Patty, this looks like it's orange, which I guess is his whole thing. When in Cage Warriors, he wore the orange shorts, which I guess is pretty cool. So it is still kind of tailored to him, but it just is the default Venom shorts that are just orange. So custom, yes, but that custom, not really. But Arnold Allen isn't really that humorous, I guess. Huh. Okay, so now we get some more insight into the Makaev and Manel Cap fight. Apparently, Manel Cap gave Makaev a cut over his head, and this whole photo is from Manel Cap's perspective. He put this on his Instagram, I believe. But this cut does look pretty bad. Not the worst cut I've ever seen in my life. Hopefully, it doesn't intrude with the actual fight. Hopefully, Makaev is still good to go. I think he still will fight with this. This cut just seems like a kind of a deeper scratch, I would say, but I guess Manel Cap won the fight is the statement about this. I do like Manel Cap, but I think he should be a bit more intelligent when it comes to this situation. Honestly, he missed weight in his last fight. He missed the Kai Kara France fight. So if he ends up having to make Makaev pull out because of a cut, it's just dumb. It's just stupid. Like I understand, like you have beef, you don't like this guy, but let's not endanger the fight. The whole point is for you to make money and get the championship belt. And if you're out here hurting opponents before you fight them and making them have to pull out because you cut them open, it just is not good for Manel Cap in the long run. Again, I don't think Makaev's going to pull out because of this, but don't give these guys a reason to pull out. Don't give fighters or your opponents a reason to pull out of a fight against you. At that point, you're just losing money. And I know, like, you want to fight, you want to scrap. It's cool. I like Manel Cap again, but at the end of the day, man, it's about putting on a fight for us fans to watch, for me to watch, and for us to be entertained. And if you aren't fighting, then like you're kind of irrelevant at that point, right? But as long as everything is fine and dandy and Makaev and Manel Cap still fight each other this Saturday, then this is a perfect way to build up a fight. I am now more interested in this fight than I've ever been. So props to them, I guess, for fighting and making me more interested, I guess. I don't know, man. It just is kind of weird, isn't it? Makaev, you suck. I don't like you. Okay, so this is the last bit of information that I have with the Manel Cap Makaev altercation. This is a tweet that Manel Cap put out, and we're going to read it. What kind of Muslim are you? You gave me salam, asked to take a picture, and then tried to punch me in the betrayal. I can see now you are not a child of the Dagestan because there are created men. You are just a poor bastard raised on a low income in Manchester without honor and principles. Holy shit. When I hit you in Vegas, I went alone and I told you to be ready. I don't hit men with their guard down or distracted or on the back. I thought everything was solved, but now the carnage will continue. Holy shit, Manel Cap. Listen, Manel Cap is out here putting on promos on Muhammad Makaev. Now, if this is true and Makaev actually sucker punched Manel Cap, that's scummy. That is pretty low. If he went there and he like faked a whole like, take a photo with me, Manel Cap, like we're chill, we're homies now, and then punch him in the face, that is probably one of the stupidest, childish, dumbest things you can do, especially if you're a fighter as well. Like it just is stupid to sucker punch somebody. So I guess if Manel Cap is telling the truth here, then I guess it is justified for him to fight back and cut him open if he is sucker punching him in the face when they're trying to get a picture or something like that. Manel Cap came out there. He challenged him to a 1v1 by himself. And yeah, I guess Manel Cap is the dude. He is the truth. So I guess we'll see and wait for what Makaev has to say. I'll check real quick if he put a tweet out. So I want to get all of the information onto this. And with a quick look at Makaev's Twitter, there is nothing in there revolving around this entire situation. So yeah, I guess this might be true. This is all information that we have revolving around this situation. If Makaev did that, then I hope Manel Cap KOs his ass in the first round. But that's it, guys. That's all I'll do for today. Overall, UFC Reddit, not really that bad. There were a few things on here that I probably shouldn't show on YouTube, but they weren't like anything too crazy. Just a Paulo Costa tweet and a funny Strickland tweet, but that's really about it. Just I didn't want to put anything that was controversial in this Reddit video. I don't know why. I just didn't want to do that too much. But overall, UFC Reddit is something that I probably will come back to at some point. I think it's a good source of information. It's a good way to find tweets and just stay up to date with the news. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, bell icon for notifications, and I'll see you guys later.